Ahead of the recent events in Ferguson, one former police chief says there is one issue at the core of the conflict: the way police interact with the public. Earlier this evening, I sat down with Joel Schultz, a former Colorado police chief.
I think there is an intentional, deliberate effort by police hate groups to tell a twisted narrative about policing. Right now, some things that are really quite normal in the world of police work gets a twisted narrative.
Dr. Joel Schultz knows police work inside and out. As a former police chief from Alamosa, Colorado, Dr. Schultz has seen it all.
I began doing some research that I call the Valor Project. But what I found out is that police officers were frequently victims of crime on the job, and prosecution of offenders was very, very low.
Police public relations, he says, is at the core of the conflict in Ferguson.
And we can't say things like, well, it's just one bad apple. We can't say things like, I'm out there every day laying my life on the line, and so you're going to have to cut me some slack. I think that's true, but that doesn't wash with today's public. They don't want to hear that. That's not a narrative that makes sense to them.
Schultz says the way things look in Ferguson is much more confrontational than it ought to. He says police need to be more willing to work as one with the public, something he says is happening under the direction of Ron Johnson. But to draw a direct connection between Johnson's leadership and peaceful protests, Schultz says, is misguided.
The tactical situation and the environment was a little bit different by the time that Captain Johnson and his officers arrived on the scene. And so I think it's a little bit of an unfair comparison to talk about the initial hours and days of the event and somebody coming in 3 or 4 days after the ignition.
The most important takeaway for everyone, he says, is show your police officers you care about what they do.
I urge everyone to take the time to, in a friendly way, approach police officers that serve them and say, we recognize you have a great challenge and a great trust. We appreciate what you're doing, and we want to do everything we can to support you and move you in whatever direction serves the public best.
Schultz will give a seminar about police force to Missouri police in Jefferson City on August 29th. He urges everyone in law enforcement to attend. That information will be on our website, KOMU.com.